Sir, Sandhya ma'am has joined.
No, ma'am, not yet.
Yes, Sandhya
She
ma'am
has
is there.
joined, sir. I've seen.
Rekha ma'am, Sandhya ma'am is there.
Yeah, I've seen, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Shall we start the session, sir?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. A very warm welcome to all the participants for the second day SDP program on enhancement and enrichment of soft skills in students. Hello.
Yeah, ma'am, you can go ahead. We can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. So we welcome our today's guest, Dr. Karnam Madhavi. Ma'am, we are happy and it's our privilege to have you here for today's session. So let me introduce you today's guest. Let me, we have a PPT today to, share the information of our guest. Let me go with the screen share. Yes.
Rekha, madam, rotate your mobile.
Sir?
Rotate, auto rotate.
Screen rotation, madam.
Screen rotation.
Yeah, once.
Ma'am, you have to click on the portrait, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry for the delay. So I'm very happy and glad to introduce to you all our today's guest, Dr. Madhvi Karnam. Ma'am is an eminent speaker and a management faculty, researcher, trainer, and consultant. Currently being associated with Jain University, Bangalore. So this is a small profile snapshot of ma'am's experience and expertise and skill set. So madam is into industry research and project consultation. She has a few ongoing assignments. She's also an active participant in NAC and NBA. She is also into curriculum designing and into uh, into creating standards, best industry standards. She is an accomplished finance faculty and also other management subjects. She has been an active researcher and she has got several publications in Scopus Index journals as well as UGC Care and other journals. She has been a program coordinator at an incubation center and also at and also been a placement officer. Coming to her consultancy, Madam has trained CIF troop to Saudi Arabia as security personnel to Indian Embassy in spoken English at CISF Training Center in 2005. And she has been on a project financial inclusion and social security schemes operating in India for Friends of WWB India in May 2011, and also into industry project consultancy for dairy plant in Tamil Nadu. It's an ongoing project. And coming to skill development, Madam has designed and implemented several skill development activities. To name a few, she has been involved in personal effectiveness, managerial effectiveness, also into academic talk, knowledge sharing, motivation, motivating students, mentoring. She has been a life coach, and she has also arranged for microlab, Johari window, story building exercises and book reviews. Coming to her leadership roles, she has been a program coordinator at graduate level, and also for the past 4 years she has been the placement coordinator, and also she has been the program coordinator at the incubation center in her organization. Coming to her academic credentials, she has her schooling and higher education from Gujarat State Board, and BBA from Gujarat University, specialized in finance and marketing, MBA in finance and production from Bhavnagar University, Gujarat, and Madam has earned her PhD from Kadi Sarva Vishwavidyalaya, Gandhinagar, Gujarat. So this is just a very brief introduction of our resource person today. So a warm welcome, ma'am. We are very eager to share and experiences with our dear participants, with our student friends today. Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Rekha ma'am, for this introduction.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
A little more to add. Today, Madam is with us to share her insights on conscious and subconscious mind, which has a major important role in our personality building and also for the success of any individual. So we all know about this subconscious mind, which definitely has got an influence on us, behavior or
Hello, Rekha ma'am.
So can you hear?
Yeah, ma'am. You can go ahead.
Yeah. 90% of the animals on earth use their subconscious mind. To quote an example here, I would like to share a small example.
Rekha madam, please unmute yourself, ma'am.
Can you hear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So all the time I was not audible.
You're audible, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. We have been discussing about the deer and the tigers example, where the deer can run at a speed of 90 kilometers per hour, where the tiger can run at 50 kilometers per hour. But all the time we find that the deer falls prey to the tiger because of its subconscious mind, which believes that it is weaker than the tiger, and in this gap, and in this, it always keeps looking back all the time while running. So in this, it keeps wasting its time and falls prey to the tiger. So this shouldn't be happening with us. So today's session is all about how we train our mind regarding the subconscious mind, and thankfully we have Dr. Karnam Madhavi here today to enlighten us on this topic as to how we train our minds about the subconsciousness and develop our personality. Thank you, ma'am. Now I hand over it to Dr. Karnam Madhavi, ma'am. Please welcome.
Thank you very much, Rekha ma'am and SNI team, School of Management Studies, Hyderabad, for inviting me to be a resource person in this wonderful seminar. I am equally excited to share my experiences with everyone over here. But before I start my session or say anything further, let me just go and share my screen. I think I've been given the rights to share my screen, right?
Yes, ma'am. 1 second.
Yes,
Rekha
ma'am,
ma'am,
yes.
please stop your screen share, ma'am, so that ma'am can start her screen sharing.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. You may do it, ma'am.
Yeah. So once I share my screen, then I would like to go ahead with the. Okay. Is my PPT visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And am I sufficiently audible for
Yes,
people?
yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So thank.
Ma'am, please
Ma'am,
unmute yourself, ma'am, once. And request all the co-hosts to please be careful, because by mistake, if you are muting the speaker, it will be difficult task for us. So please, all the co-hosts, please be alert.
yes, ma'am.
Is it fine now? May
Yes,
I continue?
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Fine. Sorry for this glitches, but we are getting used to technology, so a little bit here and there does happen. Today I'm going to talk about conscious mind, subconscious mind, and the personality. I have designed this session keeping in my mind regarding the audience that I was informed by the organizing institute. I was told that this session is specially designed for students. So I have kept students as my target audience and have designed my session for them. But saying that doesn't mean that it does not apply to others. Being student is just a stage in life, but then even when we cross that stage in life, we could still be struggling with our conscious mind and subconscious mind, knowingly or unknowingly. So I'm not saying that my talk is restricted only to students, but yes, I have majorly focused on them while designing this particular program. So that's what it is. And few things that I would like to say before I start my the contents of my session. One, I would request all the participants, though it's a technical forum and we are using webinar as our medium for conducting this particular training session, but I would request all the participants to keep noting their queries or anything that comes as a doubt or any thought that they would like to discuss to put it in the forum, and so that we can have a discussion which would result into fruitful results for everyone to ponder upon. So that is one request that I would make to all the participants.
Ma'am, you are again muted, ma'am. Please unmute once. Sir, I request Sunil sir to please take away the co-host rights from all of us.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And only Madhavi ma'am, you please make her co-host, sir, so that it will be easy and comfortable without any disturbance, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Shall I continue now? Is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So that's one request that I wanted to make. And this session is designed using 2-3 modes of delivery. That is, I'm going to use today, though I'm going to talk about a very, very technical topic, that is conscious mind, subconscious mind, and the impact of it on personality. But I'm not going to talk anything related to theory. Why? Because theory, this is not a class. This is a training session. In training session, we expect more of an application approach. so that we actually are able to relate the concepts in our life. We are able to understand them and then find those solutions which can help us overcome these things in our life. So this session is specially designed. I'll be using story method as one of the methods for conducting my sessions, as well as other approaches I would be using it. So this is the approach that I'm going to take in this session, because I'm taking this as a training session where we understand the concept of mind, its role in the personality, through understanding what we actually do in our life and how is that related to this mind. So that's the approach that I'm using it for this session. Now let me come down to the contents of the session. As my slide reflects, I'm going to talk about three very, very important things when you talk about mind. So what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about understanding and training your mind. First of all, let us understand what is mind, and then is it possible to train, and how is it possible to train? So what exactly do we need to do, or what changes we have to bring in ourselves, or what kind of an awareness do we need to create in ourselves that will help us train our mind? That's the first aspect that I'm going to cover. The second aspect that I'm going to cover is Talent Plus. So I'm going to introduce you to the concept of Talent Plus today, and what is its role, how is it related to mind. That's the first aspect. Second aspect, how will this Talent Plus help you become successful in your life? And the third aspect that I'm going to cover is nurturing passion. What exactly is passion, and how is passion related to success of an individual, and what role does a mind play in nurturing a passion? So these are the three aspects that I'm going to cover in this particular session. Moving ahead. This is the next slide. I have put one image which basically talks about three different levels of mind. And this was given by Sigmund Freud. Now, I'm not going to talk about what was the theory given by this particular and famous psychologist, and how is it how did he applied this, how did he come up with this concepts, and where all. I'm not going to talk about them. What I'm actually going to talk about is, let's understand these three different levels of mind through actions. What actions do we take in our daily life, and how are they connected to these three different levels? So this is what we are going to talk about. Now, before we talk, let us talk about the three levels that is given in the image itself, that is shown in the image itself. The conscious mind, the pre-conscious mind, or what we in general terms call it as subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. So this is how Sigmund Freud have given the classification of mind, and he related this with different kinds of personality and personality behaviors. Now let us understand from application perspective, that is what we do in our daily life and how are these connected to our things, our actions, our behaviors, our personality, and the life that we are leading today. Does mind play any kind of a role in what exactly life that we live today? So that is what we are going to talk about. Now, before I move ahead, I would like to just clarify the concept of conscious mind and subconscious mind. I'm restricting myself only to these two, because if students are able to at least understand the relevance of these two very, very important aspects of mind, I feel my session would be successful. So instead of dwelling into too many levels of mind and then trying to relate it, let me restrict myself to two major things which they will be able to associate as well as understand it. Am I audible? Is it fine? Am I going, the speed is fine also?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Now let's move ahead. Let's understand what is conscious mind and what is subconscious mind, and how does it results into our actions or reactions. What is a conscious mind? Now what happens is,
Ma'am, unmute yourself. Madhvi, ma'am. Madhvi, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I've done it now. Yeah. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So I was talking about what is conscious mind and what is subconscious mind. As I was describing that every human being or every particle in this universe has a quality of absorption. They absorb things. Now, when it comes to human beings, this absorption could be described in multiple ways. Now, let's say I am a small child, a child which is born and 6 months into this world. Do you all feel that a 6 months child has a lot of observation power? Yes or no? I mean, just answer to yourself. I know you are not in a position to answer back to me, but just answer to yourself when I'm talking about all these things. See, a 6 months child is also, even a 1 month, 3 month child is also, a child from the 3rd month starts observing things and start getting, recording those things in the mind. Now, what happens is, over a period of time, as we grow, we all have various experiences and observations with us. Now, all the culmination of observation and experience that we have in our life frames our conscious mind. Our conscious mind is actually developed by all the observations and experiences that we had till whatever age we have lived. It is basically an outward approach. A conscious mind is an...
Ma'am, unmute yourself. I don't know why this is happening.
Okay. Is it fine now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So a conscious mind basically comes from outward experiences that we have. It's not an internal process part. It's a part of, it majorly get constituted from the observations and the experiences that it makes and registers. Now, this is the first and the basic understanding of a conscious mind. Now, let's move on to the next aspect, that is subconscious mind. Now, what is this subconscious mind? What is the role of a conscious mind and what is the role of a subconscious mind? Now, a subconscious mind is a subdued mind. It is, before I go ahead with it, just one clarification. When I use the term conscious or consciousness, it basically, in simple term, it means awareness. Aware, it could be any kind of awareness. It is like awareness of I being existing, awareness that I being something, awareness that I'm being associated with something. Any kind of awareness is what you call it as consciousness. So when I say subconscious mind has two very important aspects to it. One, subconscious mind is something, is so important because that is one aspect of your mind that can help you display your potential. It is something that will make your potential be realized in your real life. So that's the importance that a subconscious mind have. But at the same time, it also has a limitation. Now, what is this particular limitation? The limitation is the subconscious mind is not the decision maker. It stays only at an awareness level. So all the decisions, actions, and everything that a human being does is actually comes from a conscious mind. Now, if everything is done by conscious mind, then why talk about subconscious mind? Because in a human being, there is always a conflict between a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. If you want to understand what's a difference between a person who is highly successful and a person with all the qualities still struggling in the daily life, or still struggling to make the ends meet, or still struggling to create a name for themselves, is because the struggle in an unsuccessful man is far more higher between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, whereas in a successful mind, in a successful person, that conflict is comparatively lesser. So that's what we'll understand this. Though I have just talked about the concept right now, I'm going to talk in terms of examples also. I'm going to narrate a story that and then relate it with our daily life example. Now, before I go ahead, because I have made myself clear with conscious mind and subconscious mind, the thought that I wanted to put across to you people, let me just come to the right side of the slide, which says that mind decides our thoughts, it decides our patterns, it decides our emotions, it decides our reactions, it decides our behavior and the decisions that we take in our life. Now, just a quick glance into all these aspects. When I say thoughts, thoughts is my expression, right? So it's my outward expression of what I really think inside my mind. Now, why I have kept thoughts and patterns separately is because your new experiences will generate thought for the first time. But when you, when that becomes a cycle in you, you call it as pattern. So that's why we call it as thought pattern. When we say a thought has become a pattern in you, it means over a period of time, when some such trigger happens, you start thinking in a similar manner. Therefore, it has become a pattern in you. Similarly, there is emotions. Now, emotions are related to feelings. Now, something that you feel, and when you relate that feeling to an expression, it is called as emotion. So, emotions are also a result of your mind. Then reactions. Now, what is reactions? Reactions are my outward display of actions. It's my outward display of actions. So how am I presenting myself to different people, to in different scenarios? How am I reacting? What people perceive based on my reaction? So reaction is basically outward action. Then it comes to behavior. Behavior basically talks about my overall presenting of self. That's my behavior. So when I say that somebody is an outward person, that means that person has displayed a behavior of mingling with people, talking to them, being comfortable in social scenarios and all those things. So behavior is basically an overall representation of your personality and decisions. Every second in our life, we take decisions. We take various kinds of decisions. And these decisions are and the end results of all the 4 points that we have mentioned above. That is, its thoughts, its patterns, its emotions, its reactions, its behaviors ultimately leads to our decisions. So this is about this slide. Now let me move on to the next slide, talk about a story, and then come back and relate it to our conscious mind and subconscious mind. Okay, before I talk about the left side of my slide, I would start with man and peanut story. So I'm going to narrate a story to you people. You have to listen to this story very carefully, because at the end, the main character or the lead actor are you. So you have to give me your answers when I ask one end question. So please listen to the story carefully, because you are the lead actor of today's story of mine. Okay. I'm going to narrate a story. It's a story of a man, and it's been titled by me as a man and peanut story. So let's start the story. Now, what is the story? The story goes like this. There's a man. Please don't confuse yourself. If you're a man, you think yourself being because you are the lead character. So you imagine yourself as man or woman the way you want it, because you are the lead character. That's why I clarified that in the beginning itself. There's a person, let me put it that way. There's a person who is from a very small town. He comes to a city. Say he comes to Hyderabad. Now, Hyderabad is a major city. It's a cosmopolitan city with many opportunities, and people look forward to coming to this beautiful city. Now he comes to Hyderabad with big dreams. He wants to become a film star. Now, Okay, let me change my location because beach will not come if I say Hyderabad. Fine. Let me say this person comes to Chennai. Because beach is a very important point in my story. So I've changed the location. As I'm the director, I changed the location. So the person comes to Chennai and he wants to become a superstar, and he has big dreams. He wants to make it really big in his life. He comes from a very small town with limited opportunities, but then his dreams were so big that he landed in a city. Now there he landed. From the day he landed, he came with a very limited resources, that is money with him. So he had money only to survive himself for a month. Beyond a month, he had to do something to survive himself in the city itself. Now, as the days passed by, the day he came, he was super excited. And from the day he landed, he made himself a small arrangement for stay. And he started moving to the studios introducing himself and looking for opportunities. Now, he went everywhere. Every day, he had a fixed routine. Every day, early morning, he would start, he will go out, he'll have his breakfast, he will have a list with him, the studios that he want to visit or the auditions that are happening. He would go there, visit them and come back. And while in the evening, when everything is closed, when all his work is closed, for relaxing himself, what he used to do is he used to go to beach. He used to go to Marina Beach, sit there and see the sunset and stay there for some more time. And then as he observed the beautiful sunset, then after some time of relaxation, he gets back to his home. He does his preparation for the next day and sleeps and gets up in the morning, and this he kept continuing. So first 1 week went. He was highly motivated and he was going auditions after auditions and studios after studios. And the routine continued, the same routine continued for all the whole week. Then the same thing continued for 15 days. Now he started getting little restless because his money, he is exhausting his money. He brought only money for 1 month. I'm sorry, just give me a second break. I would like to have a little water before I continue. Just 1 second. Yeah. So it's been 15 days and nothing is working out for the person. He's continuing his routine. Every day, then what he does is, one more thing that he used to do is, whenever he used to go to beach, he found that he's very fond of peanuts or groundnuts, what we call it as. And we know that groundnuts sell, I mean, there are a lot of people who sell many things on the beach, because people buy and eat and they have their experiences of spending time at the beach. So every day he used to buy peanut and he used to eat there, sit over there, eat and relax. Now it's been 15 days, now it's 20 days, the person has started becoming more and more restless. Then it's now 30 days. His money is over. He does not have any more money to survive himself in the city. He does not have money to even buy a peanut that he used to buy every day and eat at the beach. Now on the next day, that is the 31st day, not as per calendar date, but the 31st day as per the number count, when he was sitting, he followed the same routine. Somehow he managed for 1 more day and he came back to the beach. He was sitting there. He was again observing the same sunset. He bought peanuts for himself and he started. So what he did is, on the 31st day, he was not left with money to buy peanuts. But he has been used to the same pattern every day for the last 30 days. Now on 31st day, because he did not have peanuts, what he did is he hold as if he started imagining things. So what he did is, if you can see me in the screen, he was just holding like this. He was holding as if he has a peanut cone in his hand. He started picking up the peanuts and he started an imaginary eating like this. That's how he started doing it. So actually there was no peanut in his hand. There's nothing with this, but then he just started doing that while thinking. So this is where my story ends. Now the question is that lead person is you for the time being. Now, what I'm looking forward to as an answer is from you people is, what are you doing on the 31st day sitting on the beach? Ma'am or anybody, if from the host, if they can just see, because I'm not able to see the chat. Or wait a minute, I'll just check.
Sure, ma'am. We'll update.
Yeah, I
Request-
just want a couple of answers from participants so that I can just relate this to the concept back.
Sure, ma'am. I request all the participants to please make use of the chat box.
Ma'am, is it visible, ma'am? Is the chat
Come
box
again?
visible to you?
Yeah, I am able to see, ma'am.
Yeah, I think ma'am would guide me, because my presentation I have to minimize it and
No,
then.
ma'am. I'll be helping you out, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
Not an
Fine.
issue. Participants, please make use of the chat box to answer and respond to ma'am's.
Even if I get couple of responses, that's fine, because that will be able to, one, it will make me connect to the audience, that whether they are getting what I'm talking about, and then I'll be relating it back to them.
There is a response, ma'am. Person was imagining that he is eating peanuts.
Okay, that's one response. Any further responses? Shall we take a few seconds more to see if
Yes, ma'am.
somebody else
Actually,
also
they are
responds?
typing.
Yeah.
Another response, ma'am. I'll try another job since I'm not getting work since 30 days.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, ma'am. Maybe he wanted to be happy, so he started imagining things.
Okay. Don't make that person as a third person. You are the leader of over there. You are the main character. So it's you. What are you doing exactly sitting on the beach? So it's not the third person, it's you. Ma'am, is anyone else typing? Are we getting more responses?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
We'll wait for another couple of minutes, ma'am.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Because the more responses, I'll be able to better relate it.
Yes. I'm a free-minded person and I don't have any burden of family.
Oh, okay.
And I will think for a while and cry and then get up and find another way.
Okay.
I want to still continue my struggle with irrespective of financial boundaries.
Okay.
I will work more hard to get more opportunities.
Okay. Yeah, just a minute. One thought that I would like to put in to the audience, that is like, I'm getting responses. These are fine. But then if I make my question even more specific, that like, what exactly are you eating? Can somebody respond to this also? What exactly are you eating there? Just couple of responses for this.
Peanuts.
Peanuts, okay.
Ideas.
Okay.
Peanuts again. Nothing.
Oh, nothing. Okay.
Nothing, just imagining, and somebody has given time.
Oh, okay.
Thoughts.
Thoughts. Oh, okay, fine. I think we can continue now.
Yes, ma'am.
Fair enough. I've got the responses that I was looking for, and I did not get any new response that would startle me. So that's my response to all these things. Now let me relate your responses that you have given. The prior one, which was more generalized, and the second one, exactly what were you eating then. Now what happened is, if you see, this is how our mind is so very tuned. Now, why do I say our mind is so very tuned? The reason being, I asked you to imagine, but even in our imaginations, we cannot imagine big. We cannot imagine something concrete. Why nobody imagine? It's just an imagination. It is not costing you anything. then in imagination, instead of seeing myself as a struggling person eating peanuts or thinking ideas and thoughts, why I did not imagine myself sitting on a beach. I have parked my BMW, I'm sitting on top of my BMW, and I'm eating, say, almonds or cashews. See, my answer might seem a little weird, but if you think back, this is the reality. The reality is that even in our imaginations, we are so bounded by our experiences and observations that we are not able to break that box and think something different and unique. Imagine ourselves as a most successful person sitting over there and enjoying. Why can't I have this beach? Why is it not my own private beach? So this is what I wanted to put it over there. Like, see, somebody answered, a couple of you answered that I'm eating peanuts. Now, why in imagination also a peanut? Why in imagination it cannot be almonds or cashews? Why I'm saying almonds or cashews? Because it's far more costlier and a richer and a better this one. So it's like, even in imaginations, we keep ourselves to a very restricted mode. I hope I have made this point clear to everyone. I feel now I'm able to relate. Now I feel the audience would be able to relate the story and how we think, how limited we are or how bounded we are by our own observations and experiences that we had till now in our life. Fine. Now let me go ahead and talk about the left side of my screen and relate the same concept. When I'll talk about this, you'll be able to even relate back to the story as well as to the concept. Now, I've written three different things. I've mentioned that higher level of consciousness results into higher level of perceptions. Higher level of perceptions result into higher experiences. So what is this all about? This is exactly what your story was. Why? Because my level of consciousness is limited at this present time. When I heard the story, my perception, even I became the main actor or the lead actor of the story, still my perceptions were restricted to that scarcity thought. My thoughts were scarce, that I don't have, it's imagination, it's not a reality. So these are the scared thoughts what I'm talking about. So my perceptions were restricted only and only to that level, and that resulted into my own experiences, a lower level of experiences. I saw myself as a, now you can relate back to earlier answers that were given. That means people related experiences to, okay, I struggled, I don't want to, I'm just giving up my I'm exhausted, so I'm just giving up everything over here right now, and tomorrow I'll start fresh. So what I experienced myself as a low worthy, unsuccessful person. Therefore, those kind of responses. I hope this is making sense to the audience. If anybody would like to write anything on this, they can just put it in the chat box. Meanwhile, I continue the session. But this is what I wanted to relate it to. So now let me give you a couple of more examples when I talk about these three aspects. That is how this consciousness, perception, and experiences happen. Suppose opportunities. We all live in the same world. We all have a similar, we may have different backgrounds which may create different experiences and observations for us. But opportunities are the same for everybody. It's just that some people can see an opportunity in a scenario, whereas others are not able to see it. It's not that opportunities existed for one person and it did not exist. Opportunities were there as it is. They were there. The only the difference was in the person who saw it. So it's not the opportunity which is biased in reaching to person or an individual, but it is our restricted thoughts that does not allow us to see what is there in front of us. That's where we lack. one real life example, if you want to really look forward to this and understand this concept, we can take the example of both Dhirubhai Ambani as well as Mukesh Ambani, two very, very famous, well-known personalities in India and in the world. Now, I need not to tell you who was Dhirubhai Ambani, and neither I need to tell you who is Mukesh Ambani. But let me start with Dhirubhai Ambani. If you look into, if you see the life of Dhirubhai Ambani, he grew his business when India had when Indian industries or Indian business scenario was governed by license Raj, where things were very restricted. It was a struggle for businesses to start anything new. That was the scenario. That was the time period when he could think and go beyond. In the same environment, he could think for a solution and create Reliance Industries. He could set up a petroleum unit in the same.
Hello, Madhvi ma'am.
Ma'am,
Soumya ma'am.
There is a connectivity issue, I guess. So I
Yes,
request all the participants to please bear for a few minutes.
yeah, maybe connectivity issue. Rekha madam,
Yes, sir.
can you please call to ma'am?
Yeah.
I request to the all participants, please stay back. Give us a few seconds, we'll resolve this issue.
Sunil sir.
Ma'am.
Sir, ma'am is connecting within a minute.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you.
Shall I share the screen, sir, meanwhile? Not necessary.
Not necessary, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Soumya ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Soumya ma'am.
Ma'am.
Ma'am, you can talk to students about the feedback form.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. There is a small announcement to all the participants. Yesterday, we got the responses. There was a less count of responses when compared to the participants in the session. We only received 90 plus responses. So I request all the participants to make sure that you fill the feedback form that is given in the chat box at the end of every session, because attendance is based on the feedback, the responses that you give in the form of feedback, and attendance will be deciding the issue of certificate. So I request all the participants to take it seriously and please provide your valuable feedback at the end of every session. Thank you. We'll be sharing today's feedback at the end of the session, and it will be active for 10 to 15 minutes. A note to all the participants that the feedback link will be shared in the chat box during the session. We are not giving a mail or we are not sharing it in the WhatsApp in order to make sure that participants who are attending the session will actually get benefited, not the ones who registered. So the registrations are huge in number and the participants are not matching with the registrations. So I request all the participants to please kindly cooperate with us and use the feedback link that is shared in the chat box during the session to give your feedback. Yes, the student ID remains the same throughout the week for all the sessions.
Hello, Soumya ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I believe we have Manohar sir today as a participant.
Okay.
Could you invite him?
1 second, ma'am. Do you want me to make him the co-host, ma'am, or
No, just a formal.
you do it, ma'am? No problem. You can take over. I am done with the feedback, however. Ma'am, Madhavi ma'am is joining, so we may have the session.
I'm doing this screen share. No?
Ma'am, Madhumi ma'am, unmute yourself.
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll continue. I have requested Rekha ma'am for the PPT sharing. I'm extremely sorry, like because of power cut, I lost my Wi-Fi connection and therefore this disturbance came in between. So I'm now using my mobile phone to continue the session.
Ma'am, rotate your
Is
screen.
the PPT visible?
Yes, ma'am. Rekha madam, please rotate your screen. Auto rotate, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Fine, let me just continue mine till this presentation gets set. I think we can do that because I was talking about an example. Is it fine? Shall I continue now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So I was actually explaining and relating the concept of higher level of consciousness, perception, and experiences. And I was giving you example of Dhirubhai Ambani as well as Mukesh Ambani. I already gave you example of Dhirubhai Ambani. So what is that? What was the, because of his higher level of consciousness, he could perceive things beyond what others could not, and therefore he could bring that as a reality in his life, and that became his experiences. The similar example you can take it for Mukesh Ambani also. Now if you see his businesses, like let's take example of the present telecom sector itself. Now telecom sector was a saturated market when Jio entered the market, but it's just the way they entered, the strategy with which they entered. So it was not a market that mattered to them, but they could still come up with a very new approach, something in a saturated market. Also they could come up with something very different that could actually become the disruption for the sector itself. So that's how they came across. So that is what I was trying to relate to when it was with respect to the consciousness, the perception, and the experiences. Now what happens is, to conclude all these three aspects together, what I wanted to tell you people is, our consciousness is the broadness of mind, or whatever we can think, perceive, and that thinking would result into the perceptions that we have. That means whether our perceptions are limited to the experiences and observations we have, or have we cultivated our mind in a manner that we only extract from our experiences and look in a new way for the things to come. The same thing will result into whether it's a higher experience or it's a lower experience for an individual. So this is the point that I wanted to highlight with this. Ma'am, next slide, please.
Rekha madam, I'm using laptop. Shall I share the screen because it is mobile phone? No, you have some difficulty, I guess. If you
Yes,
want,
ma'am.
I would be helping you out.
Okay, okay. Not an issue.
Right. Just a second, Madhavi ma'am.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Yeah.
Shall I stop the
Yes.
screen share?
Yes, ma'am, please. Yes. Yeah. Is it okay, ma'am? Madhavi ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Hello. Am I audible? Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So this is the slide that, so then now the next I'm going to talk about, shall I continue?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yeah, okay. Now the next thing that I'm going to talk about is, so I talked about the first aspect where I explained you what is mind, basically categorizing into two aspects, that is conscious mind, unconscious mind, and then how this conscious mind and unconscious mind have or decide, which results into perceptions, and those perceptions results into the. Now when I say, in the slide itself I have mentioned talent plus. Now what is this plus? And this plus is the most important aspect that I am going to talk about. Now, it's talent plus. Basically, everybody asks you to be successful. They ask you to work hard, but is working hard enough for being successful? That's what the first question I would put across to all. Second thing, what kind of working hard I have to do for myself to become successful? Is my working hard related to my any information for me, ma'am?
Ma'am, actually there is some disturbance in the voice, ma'am. Your voice is breaking in between.
Oh, okay. Just a minute. I'll try for microphone nearby. Okay.
Probably the connection issue, ma'am.
Yeah, that's why I generally don't use mobile data, ma'am. But unfortunately, my level best, and the moment Wi-Fi gets connected, I'll switch off to. I'll move to that one, ma'am.
Okay, not an issue.
Hello.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Not an issue.
I'll try my level best, but if it's too much of disturbing, please tell me. So I'll check my Wi-Fi also at the same time.
Ma'am.
Yeah. So let me talk about Talent Plus. Talent Plus is something that I'm going to talk about. So what is Talent Plus? If I have to explain you the simple Talent Plus concepts, let's start with your education background. Say for example, you are any graduate. You could be a commerce graduate, you could be a technical graduate, you could be a science graduate, any graduate. So my basic qualification is my talent. Why I say that is my talent? That is my talent because I have acquired that knowledge. So that's a base that I have with me right now. So therefore, that becomes my talent. Now, will that be sufficient for me to be successful in my life? Now, that depends on many other factors apart from what you have as your basic education background or your basic talent or the core qualities that you have. So what are these plus? In today's time, only talent will not result into success. You need those plus qualities. And why am I talking about all this talent and plus, and is it anyway related to my mind? Yes, it is related to your mind. So what are the plus qualities? Plus qualities, let me first just give you a small description about the plus quality, then I'll relate it to the mind. When I say plus quality, what are these plus qualities that I'm talking about? These plus qualities are mind preparedness, my right kind of practice and preparedness that will make me reach where I'm at. And plus, now rich person, by the age I'm 40 years of age, I want to be a super rich person owning many businesses and successfully living a life. Now, this is your goal. So you have decided. Now you have even decided the businesses that you want to enter. You have for that. But then will that be sufficient for you to create those successful businesses? Because you have the talent. Now I would need people.
Madhavi, ma'am. I request all the participants to please understand the technical issues and bear with us. We will communicate to the speaker and we'll get back soon.
Hello.
Yeah, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So shall I continue now?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, but then I'm not able to manage this internet connectivity because my Wi-Fi is not working.
It's okay, ma'am. It's okay.
Yeah. So I'll just continue.
Still, we are getting some disturbance, ma'am, from your side.
Yeah. Okay. It's fine now.
Yes, yes.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just continue and try to make it as error free as possible. Less technical glitches, but let me try. Okay, so we were talking about talent and plus. So I spoke about what is talent and what is that plus, and like we were talking about that your aim is to become very successful by the age of 40, and you have designed, you have the basic knowledge about what business you have to do, everything you have it. Now, what exactly is that you require for the plus factors? First factor is basically your preparedness in terms of other skills and other requirements that you would require. It's not just the basic understanding. You would require the basic, you would require to develop yourself prepare yourself with an ability of managing different people, because as you grow in your business, you're going to have multiple people and multiple interactions with people. So you would require what you call it as intuitive intelligence. There's something called as social intelligence. You would require that also. You would require an emotional intelligence to handle people well. So there are different kinds of skills that you would require. So this put together becomes your plus. So it's not just about designing what I want in future, but along with that, how well I'm preparing myself. Have I identified the goal that I have decided for myself? So that is what is talent plus. Now, why did I talk about talent plus? Because everybody decides the goal. Everybody decides what they are going to. Generally, the problem lies is one in identifying the right plus factors for you. Now, why is a struggle in identifying the right plus factors? Because that is where the mind comes into picture. Now, how many times, please answer this for yourself. How many times you saw an opportunity, somewhere inside you wanted to do it also, but at the same time, you did not take that one step of going and doing it because there was another voice within you which said that maybe I'm not suitable. Maybe I might not be able to do it. Maybe, oh, I may not do it that way. Or I don't get along with those people who are doing that. So let me not create more conflicts for myself. So these are the kind of excuses we keep on giving when opportunity comes. That's why we are not able to convert a situation for ourselves as an opportunity. Now, this different questionings that you keep getting it is actually what your conscious mind brings forth to you. The conscious mind, it's like you want to do it, you want to become the limelight. That's your aim. So at one angle you want to be there, but on the second angle, so what message on the second angle, what you are saying is, no, I may not be, I don't get along with those people, I may not be able to do that, I'm not comfortable with this, I'm not comfortable with that. So these are the second voices that you keep getting in. Now these voices come from your conscious mind. Now what happens is, this is where the confusion gets created. So the desire to be there, be in the limelight and do it is one aspect, and the struggles within that I cannot do it, this is not my shot, or I don't get along with this, this is another shot. Now these two creates a conflict between a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. Now, what happens is your subconscious mind is constantly getting a signal from your conscious mind that don't do it, it's not for you, don't do it, it's not for you. So that signal keeps on coming back, and therefore it does not become a reality in your life. So this is how any decisions that you take in your life and how you go ahead with the preparedness of this decision depends on how less or more conflict is there between your conscious mind and subconscious mind. And why this conflict comes? The conflict comes only and only because on one aspect you want it, but your conscious mind with multiple logics is telling you, don't go for it, don't go for it, don't go for it. So it's a struggle between these two, a conscious mind. And with this struggle, the information that goes to subconscious mind is a weak mind. Weak mind, I say, why I say it as a weak mind is because it will not take that subconscious mind is getting is don't do it, it's not for you. That's a constant information that has been fed into the unconscious mind. So, sorry, subconscious mind. And when that kind of information is fed into a subconscious mind, what ultimately it results into is you are not prepared for that, and therefore you lose that opportunity. So this is what happens. Now I have put 3. Hello.
Ma'am, the signal has become weak again.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Are we audible?
Hello.
Am I audible?
I'm not getting it. Fine.
Hello.
Hello.
Now it's okay, ma'am. Ma'am, you can speak now. Hello?
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay, ma'am. Yeah, okay. Fine. So now let me come back to the 3 aspects that I've mentioned in the slide. I have put it as 3 things that you have, which are related to your talent list. One is progress map, second is road ahead, and the mountains of life. So what are these 3 aspects? First, let us talk about the progress map. The progress map says that don't focus directly on the goal, but work on building the skills for it. This is the first mistake that we make, and this is what I explained till now to you, how our mind makes us struggle and make those mistakes for ourselves. When you prepare a goal for yourself, your focus should not be on goal. Your focus should be on building the right skills to reach that goal. Once you set the goal, the focus should shift from goal to the skill sets or the plus factors that you require for reaching that particular goal. So that is what you have to work for. So that's one thing that everybody needs to work on. Second, road ahead. It talks about create the right mindset for your dream. So you should ask yourself, what should I be and not what should I do? There's a huge difference between these two questions. If you ask what should I be, it means you are talking about preparedness. And when you say what should I do, that means you're doubting your own self. You're not preparing yourself, you're doubting yourself. Generally, if we say you are weak in this, say for example, if I say you're weak in numbers, you struggle with numbers, the first reaction of the other person would be, okay, what should I do to overcome that? They never ask what should I be. They ask the first question. You say anything to other individual, they always come back to you with a question, what should I do? Now, where is introspection in all these things? If you keep asking and depending and being dependent on others, what should you do? What should you do? It would always be a struggle for you. because you are not self-introspecting your own capabilities and you are not confident about your own capabilities. So instead of asking what should I do, if I say if you are very weak in say for example, if you are very weak in presentations, they'll say, ma'am, what should I do to improve my presentations? That's not what it is. Instead of asking yourself what should I do, you should ask what should I be. When I say what should I be, it means I am weak in presentations. Presentations requires these kind of preparedness, or these are the aspects that are important for presentation. This is called as self introspection. You have to develop that capability of self introspection. And then when you self introspect and find out, okay, this is what I lack, then you are in the track of what should I be, and then you will start. That means then you have started giving the right signals to your mind that I have to prepare. I have to be dependent on my capabilities. I have to be dependent and confident about my skills, not dependent on others or for what should I do. That's a difference between what should I be and what should I do. What should I do does not involve self-introspection, whereas what should I be actually involves self-introspection as well as the actions required for overcoming that. So when you take the path of what should I be, you are training your mind to be dependent on self, to be confident on self. But when you take a route of what should I do, you are giving signals to your mind that I want it, but I can't get it. So that's the difference between what should I be and what should I do. Third is mountains of life. Now, the mountains of life is one very, very important aspect that every individual should accept in their life is problems are inevitable part of your life. So it's not when I develop myself or when I'm training my mind, I should not look for situations in my life where I will not have problem, because that is simply impossible. What should you look forward, or how should you train your mind is, you should tell your mind, whatever be the problem, let me develop capability to handle that problem. That's the difference in the approach. It's different signals that you're giving to your mind. When you say to your mind, let me not have problems, you are creating problems for yourself. One, you're reminding that life is full of problems. That's the first obstacle that you're creating and signaling to your mind. Second thing, that's an impossible task. So you will always struggle. Whereas when you say, whatever be the problem, my focus is not the problem. My focus is developing my capability to solve any kind of a problem that I face in my life. So that is what you call it. So therefore, mountains in life means, why I use the term mountains is because we always see problems as big. So you are always going to have problems. So having problems in life is not an issue. What you really need to develop is your capability or your mindset to not focus on problems, rather focus on building your capability to solve that problem. Therefore, you have to create Shriyam for yourself in your life. Now, Shriyam is a Sanskrit word. And if I have to put it in today's terms, in simple terms, it means creating a state of mind where you are dependent on your skills and not on any other things. So this is what the mountain of life is. So this is all about talent plus. Ma'am, can we have next slide? Yeah, this is the third skill. The third skill is about nurturing passion. So what is passion and how to nurture it, and why it is important to nurture your passion. Now, when I say nurturing passion, first of all, what is a passion? If you have to understand in your life, what is my real passion? I like this also, I like that also. But then what is my real passion? I like spending time for this. I like even playing video games for many number of times could also be something that I might be enjoying at this point of time. But that is not my passion. That is not going to take me anywhere. So what exactly is passion? Passion is, it's an activity, or it's something for which you steal your time and do that. So even if you are too scarce in your time, you have worked too hard the whole day, and it's just time to relax, but you still snatch those few minutes from your sleep to do that. That's your passion. That's a true definition of what you can call it as passion. Now, if you steal those 5 minutes for watching, if you steal your sleep and play a video game the whole night, you cannot call that as a passion for yourself. That's an addiction. So there's a difference in addiction. There is a difference. Passion is something that gives you growth in life. Passion is something. I would just narrate a small thing for making you explain this concept. See, I'm just giving a couple of statements and trying to relate it with that. It's like I'm a student. I'm sitting and preparing for my exam. It's a March time and the World Cup cricket is going on. It's an imaginary situation, but then cricket, because in India everybody would be able to relate it to cricket. So it's a cricket match that is going on. I know that cricket match is going on and I'm very fond of cricket. Now what happens is I'm preparing. Now first scenario, I am preparing. There's a cricket match which is going on. My eyes goes and sees that on the screen. Then my heart follows that. And I close my book over here. I go over there and I start watching cricket match. That's a first scenario. Second, I'm preparing for my exam. I know that the cricket match is going on, but my heart says that this point of time, for me to be successful, I need to study. So my heart keeps reminding me, I have to study, I have to study. Then, because I have to study, even if I know that there's a cricket match going on over there, my eyes follows the book, not the TV screen. So what happens is, when my eyes follow where my heart is, that is where it will end up to me doing the right thing at the right time, and that will lead me to success. But if my heart follows what my eyes see, then I am definitely in the path of dooming myself. So that's a difference. So identifying what time are you stealing from yourself and for what kind of a work, that will determine what is passion for me in my life. Now, why I have put the concept of passion over here is because the manifestation of this passion into reality of your life, the role of subconscious mind and conscious mind comes into picture. In the first scenario, where my heart follows my eyes, what I have done is I have given signal to my subconscious mind. See, seeing and moving over there, watching, is a role of my conscious mind. Whereas me closing my book and then finally putting my heart and soul into that match and how India is performing and all those things, that's a role of a subconscious mind. Now what I have done is, in first scenario, I have given signal to my subconscious mind, this book is not important, this exam is not important, that match is very important. So my focus, mind, everything went on there. Now in the second scenario, what I'm doing is, in the second scenario, I've made it very, very clear, no, for my success, this is what is important. I have to read. So my eyes follow where my heart is. So I made a conscious effort in my conscious mind not to get it diverted by other things. Therefore, creating that harmony between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind is what is going to take you to the success, in the path of success. Next slide, please, ma'am. Yeah. Ma'am, how much time do we have? Based on that, I'll quickly wind up this one.
Ma'am, actually the session is till 11 o'clock, but you may extend a couple of minutes, ma'am, not an issue.
Okay, because actually this rocket, I wanted to relate it with a story. Okay, fine, let me go ahead. Is this, I hope everybody have seen the screen. It's a space rocket that I have put it across in the slide. Now the story continues in the next slide. Ma'am, can you just please move on to the next slide? Yeah, okay. Now why that rocket? We have to become, if we want to be successful in our life, if we want to train our mind to put us in the direction of success, what we need to do is we have to become rockets in our life. Now, why we have to become rockets in our life is we have to adapt those the qualities that a rocket has. Here, when I say rocket, I'm talking basically about the space rocket and or the multi-stage rocket that we all very eagerly see the launch and everything of that. Now, I will quickly tell this story that why we have to become rocket and how we have to become rocket. Sorry. See, if you have observed a rocket launch, or if you have seen any video which talks about the rocket launch and shows the complete process, what happens is, rocket, when it launches from the land, it has many parts. As it progresses towards the space, at every stage, it keeps shedding down some parts of it. It is designed that way, that it will keep shedding down, and that is what will give the push for the main part, that is the spacecraft to reach the space. Now, that's the same concept we have to follow in our life. In life, what we have to do is, we as human beings also, when we start our life, we come up with our own experiences. Now, the best way of handling your experiences and reducing the conflict between your conscious mind and subconscious mind, what you have to do is, when you talk about your life, what you have to keep doing is, you have to just take the essence from your experience and observation and leave the real experience and observations back. Otherwise, what happens is, as you progress in your life, if you don't leave these parts from you, only drawing the essence, what you are increasing your baggages. Increasing baggages means you are putting more and more and more weight. As you progress up, your body should become, basically you should become lighter, like a rocket. If it keeps holding all the parts, that weight and those unnecessary parts will become a struggle for the rocket to reach the space. Same way, even in human life, if we want to reduce the struggle between a conscious mind and a subconscious mind, all our past experiences that we have, all the observations that we have made, they are important, because today, whatever we are, whether it's a success or a failure, today what I am is the result of my success and my failure. I have learned from both. So I should only keep my essence with myself, but I should leave the real experiences back. If I don't keep shedding down those real experiences, I would become so heavy in my life that I will not progress I will not progress properly towards then I will start creating more and more obstacle for myself in my life itself. So that's why I kept this rocket story for you people, because I wanted to tell you that this is how we have to become. This is the best example for you to understand what you should be and what you should do, and how can you reduce that conflict between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. As I've put it in the statement in the same slide, difficulties are inevitable part of your life, but your itch to overcome that will ensure your success. Next slide, please, ma'am. Okay. This is kind of a summary of what all I have talked about. See, practice is not enough. If somebody says that practice makes a man perfect, I would like to just correct it a little bit. Yes, practice is important, but that is not enough. It's the perfect practice that works for you. So try to know what is the right kind of a plus factors that I require to reaching my goal, and then make those plus factors your key focus, not your goal. So that's the first aspect. Second is, skills alone are not sufficient. One needs constant mental focus. If you want to develop a constant mental focus, you have to reduce the conflict between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. What you want and what you are preparing yourself should be the same focus point. Once you have that, success would be inevitable in your life. Next, what should I be? I explained you that point also. So these are the 4 aspects that you have to think when you want to become when you want to be on the path of what should I be. So there should be a concept of self-introspection. There should be a concept of self-analysis. Then opportunity thinking. Every scenario or everything that I could see and perceive is an opportunity for myself. When you develop that kind of a thinking in yourself, you're creating path for success. And be positive and practice positivity. Positivity is a state of mind. It is nothing else but just a state of mind. So a state of a mind, when I say being positive, means I've created a state of mind where I have least conflict between my, or nil conflict between my conscious and subconscious mind, and I depend on my plus factors or my own skills and potential for being successful, and not getting influenced by other factors. That is what it basically means, being positive. That is what it means. And this is the one mantra that I am leaving with you people, for you to think about, that whenever you're preparing yourself, just tell these few things to yourself, or keep reminding yourself these things. One, the way I said, problems are inevitable in your life. Equally, the equal reality to that is success is also inevitable to in your life, because every human being is born to succeed. The human being is designed to be successful only, and you have to believe that success is an inevitable part of my life. Now, what you need to do is to make this reality in your life, self-development and growth. That should be my only aim in my life, nothing else, neither my surroundings, neither my background, neither what I see, what I don't see, nothing else. My growth, me continuously growing, should be the only and only mantra that you should keep with yourself when you want growth in your life. Next slide, please, ma'am. Yeah, okay. So this is my last slide. Just when it comes to your experiences, don't give, we keep saying that negative experiences are bad, but that's not what is true. Experience, any kind of experience is always good till you learn from that experience. So if it's a bad experience, thank you, because whatever today I am, it's because of what experience I had. If I would have not had that experience, I would have not created this wisdom for myself. And when I use the term wisdom, I would just like to put this one word to you people, that what exactly is wisdom is knowing what you cannot settle in your life, or this is something that you cannot do. Knowing that is what you call it as a real wisdom. And the next thing is, I'm leaving you people with these questions to self introspect, because this will tell you what kind of a mindset are you holding, how much of conflict is there between your conscious mind and subconscious mind. So just a few illustrative questions I have kept over here. That is, do I procrastinate my work? Do I always find a reason not to do the work? Do I have a quality to give up my past experiences? How much am I influenced by my surroundings? Because there are many people who always say, ma'am, I come from this background, therefore I am not able to do this. So it's not your background that's a hurdle for you, it's your mindset that's a hurdle for you. So does anyone want to say that because I come from this background, I don't want to grow? So if you don't have that kind of a thought pattern with you, then definitely your background cannot be a limiting factor for you. Right, that's all. Thank you very much. Now the forum is open for any question answers if there is any time, and the organizers would like me to take some questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So participants, you may please make use of the chat box to share any queries. We will be sharing the feedback form soon. So please feel free to share any questions or queries you have, because Madam is open for discussion now. Please utilize the opportunity. I request the participants once again to please share your questions or queries in the chat box.
Okay, I think.
Ma'am, there is a question.
Yeah.
Difference between conscious and subconscious mind.
I actually see what comes forth in front of you. I'll try to simplify and tell you what is conscious mind. The logics that your mind keeps on presenting to you when you're trying to evaluate a situation or anything is actually your conscious mind. But a strong desire from inside saying that I want to do it, right? So that is what your subconscious mind is. It's basically two different levels of awareness that we have. One is a conscious awareness. At a conscious mind is driven by our experiences and observations. Therefore we get more and more of those logical reasoning, why not to do or what to do or what not to do, and justifying that with logic. That's a part of your conscious mind. When what is your subconscious mind? Subconscious mind has only two things. It's aware of its existence. Second thing, it's aware that I have infinite potential, but then I cannot bring forth that infinite potential by my own self. Whatever I get as a signal from the conscious mind, only that I can bring forth. So this is what a conscious mind is and a subconscious mind is. Have I been able to answer you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, another question.
Yeah.
Always ask, what should I be?
Yeah.
Doesn't it reflect a kind of overconfident, being overconfident?
Not really, if you understand that statement properly, or sorry, question properly. Or see, what should I be can never be overconfidence, because when you say what should I be, you are always looking back what I require for being and what I have and I don't have. It's more of an introspection stage. So therefore, my experience and the theory says that what can I be cannot be overconfidence, because it's about looking for preparedness for self, not the I mean, so the conclusion is it cannot be overconfidence.
Yes, ma'am. Another question. What should we do when people whom we love stop or restrict us from doing what we love? Neither I can sacrifice things I love to do, nor ignore what they say and do what I love.
Okay, then the first question in this scenario, many of us face this. Almost everybody of us at some point of time have definitely faced this. Now, the first thing that you have to answer, two things I would like to give back for this question. One is immediately question yourself, is me growing more important, or me others stopping me and deciding my life is more important? This is one thing. See, this is not selfishness. Why? I'll tell you why this is not selfishness. Because a person, if he or she is happy and growing, then only people surround you are happy. It's just that they don't understand that, they can't see that, therefore they become an obstacle for your growth. But if you can just show them this is my growth, and therefore once you show them that this is my growth is, they would definitely be happy with you. So these are the two aspects that you have to answer for yourself and go ahead with it.
True. Another question, ma'am.
Yeah.
How can our subconscious mind affect the way we think, feel, and behave?
How can our subconscious mind affect, right?
Yes,
That's
yes.
what the question. Affect in the sense that it creates that conflicting signals. Basically, it's an interaction. It's not conscious and subconscious mind in their own self. It's not isolated thing. It's like all actions, reactions, behavior, everything that a human being displays is actually a resultant of the communication between conscious mind and subconscious mind. So there are certain things which are registered in conscious mind, and that conscious mind gives signals to subconscious mind. Subconscious mind, remember one thing, has everything. It has an unlimited potential to be displayed. But then it can only display what your conscious mind can tell you. It can give signal to the subconscious mind. So it's basically the interaction between these two is what the resultant of the actions or behaviors of human being is.
Okay. One last question, ma'am.
Yeah.
Can you give an example for higher level perception?
Yeah, I gave many examples, no? Like how you see as an opportunity, or even the story of a beach. Higher level of perception is why I could not imagine myself sitting in a BMW. That's my future. It's my imagination. Why I couldn't, even if I'm sitting on the beach itself, in the sand itself, why I couldn't imagine myself eating an almond or a cashew instead of a peanut. Right? So that's perception, because my perception is telling me, my restricted perception is telling me I am weak, I am a failure. Because I perceived myself to be a failure, I could not think of something rich or big. That's perception. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. There are two more questions, ma'am. One more. How to overcome subconscious mind in difficult situations?
How to overcome?
Subconscious mind in difficult situations.
You need not to overcome subconscious mind in difficult situations. There is nothing, because subconscious mind is actually not doing anything for you. It is only taking the signals from your conscious mind. So if you can train your conscious mind to think in the right direction, your subconscious mind will do everything that your conscious mind will tell you to do. So there's no need for ignoring or focusing on subconscious mind. Focus on training your conscious mind.
Okay. And one last question, ma'am. How to develop self-introspection?
How to develop self, actually it's a very long subject, but I'll try to just tell you in a simple words. See, self-introspection is creating a mindset for yourself where I always keep reminding myself that my experience, I should only take essence from my experience and leave the experience back. So when you can objectively evaluate what you have gone through or what your experience have been, that is what you call it as self-introspection. In this forum, beyond this, I cannot, because it's a very long subject and it has its own method. So I need to take 1 more hour session to explain you how to do a self-introspection. Maybe some other time if I get some opportunity. Yeah.
We will definitely love to listen from you, ma'am. And another question, ma'am.
Yeah.
When conscious mind commands and your subconscious mind obeys for the same reason, how can we justify the conclusion?
I didn't get the exact what conclusion, ma'am?
I'll again repeat, ma'am. When conscious mind commands and your subconscious mind obeys for the same reason,
right?
How can we justify the conclusion? I'll do one thing, ma'am. I'll try to unmute this participant.
Yeah. That would
be better.
Yeah.
1 second. Yes, Shabana.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am.
Yeah. Hello. Please tell me.
Thanks for the opportunity. So my question is, at the same reason, our conscious mind and subconscious mind, want to justify and came to a result on the same reason. How can we conflict and how can we come out from that?
Okay. See, I'll give you answer based on what I understand and certain clarifications to you. First of all, see, a subconscious mind does not judge. It does not do anything, first of all. Second thing, if what your conscious mind signals, the subconscious mind comes up with the same thing. So the problem, what happens is when there is when both your conscious mind and subconscious mind is actually giving the same answer or is coming to the same conclusion, that means that is exactly what you want. That is the least conflict stage for you to have it. So if this is what you wanted and that is what you got, then only the conflict would be nil and you will get the same result from what you have demanded from your conscious mind and from your subconscious mind. Am I able to answer you? Did I understand your question properly?
Yes, ma'am. She's happy and she is given the response in the chat box. One last question, ma'am. What is the actual thing which holds us back from doing what we love?
Fear. You need to have a certain courage to take the step ahead. That's one thing. Second thing, to have that courage, all other things will follow. That means you have already trained your mind and everything for taking that one courageous step for yourself. Yeah.
Very true.
So that's my answer to that. Yeah. I think there is one question which was privately sent. Just a minute, ma'am. I'll just
Okay.
check once.
No problem.
My chat, I'm not. Where can I see my chat?
I'll
I'm
do
not
one
able to
thing, ma'am.
see it.
Any
Yeah,
participant
ma'am. If
who has,
anybody has, yeah, they can
yeah,
just mail it
you
to
can
me, ma'am.
you
a
can
pager.
raise
That
your
would be
hand.
better. Yeah.
You can raise your hand so that I'll unmute you and you can share the question. Any participant who has a question left in mind can please raise their hand. Ma'am, another question from a participant in the chat box. How pre-conscious mind differs from the other two?
Ma'am, it's a whole theory. It's a huge theory. It's basically, it's a different level. See, when I say different level of mind, I'm talking about different level of consciousness. So it's, and when I say different level of consciousness, what I'm actually talking about is different level of awareness, and that awareness which results into different kinds of different levels of perceptions for you. So this is the only answer as of now I can give, because it's a huge, huge, huge theory to talk about. Yeah.
Yes. One last question, ma'am. This is going on. How
Yeah.
can I know what is my passion?
I told you for which you steal the time, but then that what you steal time for should result into some success for you. So if you steal time for watching video game or K dramas or anything like that, stealing time from your sleep, that is not going to take you anywhere. So that cannot be your passion. But if you take that time to develop a particular skill, howsoever tired you may be, then that's your passion.
Yes, absolutely, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Participants, I hope the questions are done. Yes. So thank you so much, ma'am. Your profile speaks a lot, actually. Such a diversified
Thank you.
profile at such an young age. This really speaks a million tons about you as a teacher, researcher, and motivator, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Unraveling the mind, conscious mind, subconscious mind, and the personality. As you sow in your subconscious mind, so shall you reap in your body and environment. So the 3 levels of mind are explained in such a simplified way, which made us understand every bit of it, ma'am. So the way you narrated the story, the man and the peanut, made all the participants provoke a big thought within each of them. And I'm sure this ignites the change in the thought process of each of us. You made the point very clear by quoting apt examples for every concept you narrated through the stories and examples. You actually made today's session nothing less than a physical session. Thank you for making this possible, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, and I'm extremely sorry for the technical glitches in between. Thank you. So I am sorry because I couldn't manage that one. That's all.
That is
Yeah.
out of control, ma'am. You
Yeah.
definitely made it match the physical session. in
Yeah,
your
I
presence.
once again thank Professor Rekha, ma'am, you for coordinating this so well, and I also thank the institution for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
I may end the session?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sure.
Participant ID is shared in the WhatsApp group. A participant is posing a question in the chat box, how to get the participant ID. So please, if you're not in the WhatsApp group, please inform us. I'll be sharing the coordinator's number in the chat box. So you may please communicate through WhatsApp to the number. Yes, so Vishal Mehta, I request you to please send a WhatsApp message to the above number. Okay, thank you all the participants. Meet you all tomorrow. Have a happy day.